Joining us now, the man himself, Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
You know, the union released internal polling on Wednesday indicating that a majority of its members are supporting Trump over Vice President Harris. That's sending some pretty strong reverberations inside the Democratic Party and amongst all analysts inside the Democrat ranks. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, it's not surprising because the first time Sean and I sat down and actually had a good conversation is actually after Trump had asked us to sit down and talk, and to Sean's credit, he actually reached out to me first. And when we sit down, we had a good conversation about just who we are as a person, and he was quick to apologize that he should have read my bio before he went to the meeting, and then him and I had a conversation, and I said I could have handled things different. But once we got past the formalities, him and I sat down and really had a conversation about the party and where it's at. And he said, listen, I'm a Democrat, born Democrat, will die a Democrat. But I also represent my brothers and the Teamsters, and the Democrat Party has left us. And he said, I bet you, and this was early spring, late winter this year, when he said, I bet if I polled today, the majority of my individuals that are my brothers in the Teamsters Union would be supporting President Trump. And that was over Biden, by the way. And so it doesn't really come as a surprise to me at where they're at. I mean, you see where the Democrat Party has went. They're driving, just talk about Teamsters as itself, where most people think about the truck drivers, but obviously the Teamster unions incorporate a lot more than just that. But Kamala herself has came out and said that she wants to ban, combustible motors. Well, what does that do to truck drivers? Right? What does that do to the independent drivers? What does that do to the freight haulers out there? When you start talking about the banning combustible motors, let's talk about the factories that depend on combustible motors should be made, and where the majority of Detroit depends on them. When you start talking about where they're going with this woke movement against the pipe fitters, when they won't allow infrastructure to take place because we can't build pipelines because they won't permit them. They just canceled the pipeline permits going through Louisiana, getting down to the port. When you start looking at what their agenda is, that's what Sean was meaning by the Democrat Party has left us. So we as Republicans have to do a better job saying, hey, look, there may be some differences, but we're representing the working class out there. We're representing the middle class. We understand that the economy drives on the laborers that's out there every day making this country go around and round the way that it is. And the Democrat Party has left you, so we want you part of our party. And I think Sean has been the first one to actually make that step. And man, that's bold. That's honestly the type of guy Sean is. He's there for his union members, as he calls his brothers, and he's going to go where they are, regardless of what he believes. As he said, he's a Democrat through and through, but he's representing the Teamsters right now, and that's where they're at. They're with President Trump.
That's so encouraging to hear that conversation actually took place, especially. I have no doubt he is not going to be changing his party registration anytime soon. But at the same time, the fact that he is able to have that conversation with you is something the Democrats don't want to highlight. They keep saying that we're not having these conversations, we're not coming together, that we need to get to a place where we do that. But they don't highlight conversations like that. So I think that was an important one to have. You yourself, though, have had a pretty interesting relationship with union leadership. I mean, you've been fairly critical of it. You've said that you are proud to represent a right-to-work state, Oklahoma. Not unusual for the region. Missouri's a right-to-work state. All these other states have also kind of taken a very strong stance on this question.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.